go out and actually build your business, very hands-on, back to basic type stuff. And Cyrus does an absolutely incredible job of putting his systems to work to make sure that he helps himself grow in terms of listing inventory. Without further ado, go ahead, buddy. I'll fix this while you start.
All right, cool. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm super excited to be here. I want to start a little bit with my story. That way I can lay the groundwork of kind of where I came from, where I'm at, and then I'll get into how we're actually going to, the system that we actually operate in. So, a little bit about me. I like to start when I was 11 years old. Because this is really where like my life started changing, I think. There was these, what I call like these butterfly moments, right? Like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly moments. And I was 11 years old. My grandma, so my mom's mom, my uncle, my mom's brother, and then my dad, my mom's husband, all passed away within 1 year. That was hard, not just for me, but for my mom. It was the first time in my life, I was in 6th grade, it was the first time in my life that I actually thought about somebody else versus myself, right? My dad was the breadwinner in our family, right? My dad worked, my mom worked, but she never really had to work. She worked at like the school to kind of just be next to us kind of thing. And my dad actually owned car dealerships. First generation from Iran, moving to the United States. I'm second generation. My grandma was, my mom's first generation from the so I'm half Mexican, half Persian. So my grandma's from Mexico City. My dad was from Tehran, Iran. So when this happened, it was the first time that I thought about other people. I thought about my mom. I'm the last of 5 kids, by the way. So my mom started working 6 jobs to keep the house over her head. That was my reality. My mom would go to work at 4:30, 5 in the morning, and she'd come home at 11:30, 12 midnight every single night. My mom's an amazing human being. She's my rock. I'm a big mama's boy. So, and because of this, right, my mom went out and she, when all of this adversity was hitting, she went and handled business. She's got 5 kids at home, right? Again, I'm the last of 5. I'm the baby. And when this happened, it was the first time that I actually thought about other people. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up trying to make my mom's life easier, somehow, right? So I went out and I was walking to school, I was packing my own lunch, I was doing all these little things, 6th grader, trying to just make my mom's life a little bit easier, right? Trying not to get in trouble at school anymore, still got in fights. And then what I realized is I also had to care about myself, right? I wasn't really that close with my grandma. My uncle was 28 years old. Thank you. My uncle was 28 years old when he passed away. He was like my best friend. He was, wow, that's crazy. When he passed away, I remember running out the house and being like, my dad and my mom were sitting down in the living room and all my family, and I went down the stairs and they told me. And I remember running out the back door and being like, we didn't finish our video game. And I'm like, when I think about it now, it's like, what was I talking about? A video game? It wasn't that. It was that I felt like I didn't get to finish that relationship, right? And then exactly a year later, so my uncle passed away, and this way you can do the math to see how old I am. I'm 29. But my uncle passed away when I was in 2004, on October 29th, 2004. My dad went into the hospital on October 29th, 2005. Exactly a year later. When that happened, it was my two biggest male role models, and it was when that happened, I realized I had to, like I said, take care of not only my mom, right? Make my mom's life easier, but also make my life easier. Because life is about happiness, truly. And how I chased that is I realized, again, I'm in 6th grade, but I realized I had to do what I wanted to do, what made me happy. And that was soccer. So I trained. I said, I'm going to play pro soccer. Actually, one of my oldest friends in soccer is over here taking photos somewhere. I don't know where Ryan is, but he's somewhere around here. And we actually hated each other when we first started playing. And now we're like best friends. I'm his best man at his wedding, so that's going to be cool. But what was really interesting is I started playing soccer. I started playing soccer before school, and then after school, and then after school. And then I found out you could play professional soccer. I never realized like you could just become a pro soccer player. Like I thought you had to like be born. I don't know really what I thought, but I didn't know that you could work your way to become a professional soccer player. So I said, I'm going to play professional soccer. So all growing up, that's what I did. I trained. People told me, hey Cyrus, you need a backup plan. I said, a backup plan is an excuse to fail. I'm going to play professional soccer. My uncle told me your dad wouldn't be proud of you if you played soccer, you should go to school. I said, no, I'm going to play professional soccer. So when I was 18, 2 days after I graduated high school, I moved to Europe. I played for one of the biggest teams in Europe. I signed a professional contract. I played in Switzerland, Iceland, Costa Rica, here in the United States. I played for Chivas USA, San Jose Earthquakes, and MLS. I played some of the highest level soccer in the world. I went back to Europe. I was coming back to play for a team in LA. I went to my mom's house. I was hanging out at my mom's house. I said, I'm going to go get lunch. I left to lunch. I was driving back. It's about 7.5 years ago, by the way. I was driving back home, and someone made an illegal left-hand turn and T-boned me. Right there was the end of my soccer career. I didn't realize it yet, right? But that was the end of my soccer career. So I went through this whole crisis, identity crisis. I thought people loved me for what I did, not for who I was. Right? I thought people liked Cyrus the soccer player, not Cyrus. And so I went through this whole thing, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And through every single off-season, I went through some sort of school. So like, one year I went to Italian class, another year I went to French class. I failed both of those. And this specific year, I had gone to real estate school. Not because I wanted to be a real estate agent, because I hated real estate agents and they're all boring. You're welcome. It was because I was going to buy a house. I was signing a really big contract with the team. I was already looking at my contract, everything was good. And so I said, I'm going to buy a house. I should know what the process is. Little did I know I'm not going to learn anything about real estate in real estate school. I'm going to not use 98% of it, right? So when I got my car accident, I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? I literally didn't go to college. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm freaking out. And I sat down with my now business partner, and we're on the back of his yacht, and I go, hey, Jack, I think I'm going to get into real estate. And he goes, well, how do you think I paid for this? I said, well, that's a good enough sign for me, right? And that's when I decided I was going to get into real estate. My first year, I sold $30 million in real estate. Since then, I've increased it every single year. I sell over 150 million every single year, consistently. And that's through systems and processes, right? So that's what I want to talk about. It's something that I use on a daily basis. Again, I talked to you guys earlier in the day, and I said I want to give you guys something that you guys can take into your business tomorrow and do and execute. I don't like this fluff of like, hey, then come buy my course. No, BS. Here it is. I'm going to give it all to you. So, I have a standard. That standard is every single listing I take, I have to take another listing and another buyer. Period, end of story. Period, end of story. It's not, oh, I hope to get another listing, I hope to get a buyer. It's, I will take another listing and another buyer. And every single person that works with me, that's seen how I work, knows this is true. This is how you consistently execute. You have to know and create your standards. So what is that for you, right? Now, how do I do that? Very simple. I'm going to go through the whole process. Again, I will share this with you guys later. You guys want to take pictures of it, that's cool. It's not going to tell you anything because it's not going to make sense for you. I will actually, if you guys send me a DM, I don't know if this is my Instagram here. So if you guys message me on Instagram, I will actually add you guys to a portal where I have this all in video training. A lot of people know this, like Michael and Kyle know this. I have a video training library of like probably 8-9 hours of trainings that I do. I'll put you guys all on that just because that's what I like to do. I like to share. So I'm going to go through this and then you guys can watch it later, right? So most likely to sell this. So what I do is I go to my title officer and I say, hey, Darren's his name, and I say, Darren, I need a most likely to sell list. What is that most likely to sell list? That is taking data, for those of you that don't know. It's saying, hey, in XYZ neighborhood, people usually sell within 5 years of buying. Or in XYZ neighborhood, there's this much turnover percentage. So I go to my title officer and I say, hey, I want to know what the turnover rate in Newport Beach is. And then I break it down and I say, hey, Newport Heights, and then we can actually get it even more smaller, right? Into each specific neighborhood. So we say, hey, I want the most likely to sell list. It's going to be important. I'm going to explain why that's important. Okay? Then what I do is around that listing, I door knock 100 homes around that listing, period, end of story, every single time. This business is not complicated. I have no real estate background whatsoever. I knew nobody in real estate, and I come out and I do what I've done. It's because I do what I do every single day, consistently. Because I have a standard. If I take a listing, I'm going to take another listing, and I'm going to get another buyer. How do I do that? Again, I door knock the 100 closest homes around that neighborhood. So if I'm selling this house, I just make a little map. I know my 100 homes, and I don't even have to count them because I print 100 flyers, and I go to every single door. And the other day I was doing this with one of my agents. I sold it sold at 8.35 million. And we're in this neighborhood, and I'm knocking on all these doors, and my agent's with me, and he's like, hey, I want to learn how to door knock. I'm like, come on with me. So we go and we're walking, and he's like, hey man, no one's answering the door. I said, he goes, don't you get tired of nobody answering the door? And I said, no. Because my job is to check my list off. My job is the process. The results will come if I consistently hit the process. There are times that I door knock these 100 doors and I get no answers. There's times that I door knock those 100 doors and I get 20 answers, 30 answers. Right? That time we got 2 people to answer, one of them turned into a listing. So there you go. And by the way, that listing is $9 million.
What do you say?
What was that?
What do you say when you knock on the door of that type of house?
Right in mind. What do I say? Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. My name is Cyrus Mohseni from XYZ Real Estate Company. I'm introducing myself and letting you know that I specialize in this neighborhood. I have the listing right down the street at 123 Main Street. We're going to be doing an open house Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 to 4. Would you like to come check it out? I would love for you to come check it out. Easiest door knock in the world, by the way, is an open house door knock. Okay, then they say, oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I'd love to come check it out. Okay, hey, by the way, if you know anyone that's looking to buy in the neighborhood or move into the neighborhood, please give them my contact information. I'd love to help them with either this one or another one we have coming. By any chance, have you ever thought about selling? And by the way, by that by any chance is, I'm like, hey, just let me know if anybody, and I'm like, oh wait, hey, by any chance, do you know anybody have you ever thought about selling? No, not me, I'm staying in this neighborhood 50 years. Okay, cool, yeah, sounds good. Hey, here's my information. If you ever need anything, please give me a call. I'm gonna get into this, but this business is about relationships. Right? So what do I do then? I talk to them, I add them to Follow Up Boss, or whatever CRM you're using. I put them into Follow Up Boss and I tell them, hey, I put inside my notes, I say, Sherry that I met at 123 Main Street in Newport Beach, and I tag those things, right? Because then I can sort through them later. But I tag those, and then I put in my notes, I say, she had a green gnome on the front, and I told her how much I loved it, and she told me her gnome's name is Michael. Sorry, Michael. It's just the name that came to my mind. And her gnome Michael was gifted from her grandfather, blah, 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 blah. I put all of these notes in there. Why? Well, because then I send a handwritten note. Every single person I talk to, every single person I meet, I send a handwritten note. What does that note say? Thank you so much for opening the door and having a conversation with me. I appreciate you. As you know, this business is about relationships, and I would love to continue this relationship. Looking forward to seeing you at the open house this weekend. So what do I do? Thank you. So what do I do? As soon as I meet them, I go home, I write these cards, which honestly, they're already pre-written because look how easy this is. And then I address them, send it in the mail that day. Because guess what? Comes the next day. I'm not sending them from far away. Right? So once I send these handwritten notes, then I do something that's really fun and really exciting is I pull contacts from RedX. RedX is between follow-up, by the way, like this is truly how I feel, this is truly what's made my business. Between RedX and Follow Up Boss, they have completely made me to what the agent I am. Period, end of story. I tried every single CRM in the industry, and I went to FUB, and when I was putting this event together, I'm like, oh man, what the best sponsor I could ever get would be FUB because it's so easy to talk about, because it's such a good product, and RedX completely changed my business as well. So what RedX does is it pulls data. It's easier than me going to go pull that data somewhere else. So what I do is I pull contacts from RedX. And what I do is I pull 1,000 homes around the listing. So remember, I door knocked 100 homes, but then I pull the contacts for 1,000 homes around. Well, now what RedX also has is what's called a triple line dialer. So now what do you guys think I'm doing? I'm calling the 1,000 homes around the listing, right? And I'm calling them and I'm doing the same exact skill, right? I can't door knock 1,000 homes. Okay, I like it. It's possible. But it's gonna take, it's too much time, right? So I do a triple line dialer, I dial 1,000 homes around, and I have the same exact script, it's the same thing, right? I introduce myself, I let them know who I am, I let them know what I'm doing, right? And then I go from there. Okay? I send just listed postcards to those 1,000 homes. This is what my just listed postcards are. They're pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's got a QR code with the property website. That QR code also gives me tracking so I know who's going on and checking it out, or how many clicks or how many people are actually looking at it. So if I send 1,000 postcards and I get 10 people that look at it, I'm like, huh, interesting. What did we do wrong there, right? Or, huh, interesting. Those 10 people that clicked it, let's go and retarget them on our back end, which is a whole different conversation. But I also use Follow Up Boss to retarget and so on and so forth, so it gives me notifications. Okay, I rinse and repeat that process. The calls, the door knocks, and the postcards for every milestone. Again, this business is not a difficult business, it's not a hard business, it's just putting in work. So I rinse and repeat that process. I door knock the same owner of Cyrus. I don't want to talk to you, hey, Cyrus, I told you I'm not going to sell my house. Hey, I know you're not going to sell your house. I'm just coming because I'm letting you know that house is in escrow now. Okay, cool, thanks. I'll come back and let you know when it's sold. Please don't. Okay, I won't, but can I get your email address? And then what I'll do is that'll avoid me having to come see you. I'll just send you an update via email. How's that sound? Guess what? I get their email address. And guess what's happening? Right? Guess what's happening is every single time that I have these updates, I'm also sending email updates. I'm probably getting out of order now. So yeah, call 500 homes, yada, yada, yada. Okay, this is my slide broadcast, another major hack. Slide broadcast, again, is a system that I use. It's, I don't get paid to use it. This is a code that I think gives you 100 free dials and gives me 100 free dials or something. I don't know, I just pulled it off their website. But basically, slide dial, which is, maybe some of you got my slide dial, by the way. Sorry if it came in the middle of the night because I didn't click send on that, okay? Slide dial is, you ever get a call from somebody, but you don't have a missed call, but you have a voicemail? That's called slide dial. Right? And what that voicemail is very easy, very straightforward. Lots of ums, lots of lights, lots of mess ups. Because it's natural. I call and I say, hey, I was calling because I have XYZ 123 Main Street just listed. We're going to be doing an open house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath place. Would love for you to check it out. I just want to let you know, my name's Cyrus again. I'm a local real estate agent, one of the top real estate teams in the area. I just want to let you know and invite you to the open house. So now I just hit 1,000 homes, right? Around the 1,000 homes that I already pulled and called, right? I just hit another 1,000 homes by sending a slide out. By the way, the slide outs are like I don't know, like 5 cents, maybe less each. And they only charge you for the ones that are successful, that actually make it through to your voicemail, which is really sweet. So what I do is I send a slide out for what? Just listed, in escrow, just sold. Hey, I have a new listing. Yeah.
What about the do not call list?
The do not call list. So RedX actually filters that all out. So I don't need
I
to
don't
worry
think
about
we're
it.
allowed to use that in New Jersey as a realtor.
People do. I get them every week.
Yeah. So yeah. So I'll kind of keep going. Now what I do is I go into RedX again, and I pull the expireds and the for sale by owners in that area. So again, if I'm in Newport Beach, I'm pulling the expireds and for sale by owners in Newport Beach. Guess what I'm doing with them? Door knocking and calling. Why? It's my low-hanging fruit. Every single time they say, oh, do you do business in the area? Yeah, I got a listing right down the street. It's the easiest expired call. It's the easiest physical introduction. Right? So I pull them in each neighborhood that I am. And I usually go back. I'll pull it back to a year, 2 years, whatever. Because if the cool thing about RedX, again, is like they filter them out. So if they've been relisted, they already they take them out of the system. So I'll go back to a year, 2 years, whatever it is, so I can pull as many expireds in that neighborhood. Because at one point they wanted to sell, right? Right? And then again, I send an email update for each milestone and future listings. So now, the coolest thing is also RedX, right? They give me all of the email addresses for these people. So guess what? They go into my CRM, they go into Follow Up Boss, and then every single week I send out weekly newsletters or updates with new listings and so on and so forth. And guess who's on my list forever now? They are. They're going to get an update for every single listing, every single update for the transaction, so on and so forth for the rest of their lives. And guess what? They're going to be called as well. I'll open for a couple questions, and then Michael and I are going to jump in to something really quickly. So does anyone have any questions about any of that? I know I just ran through it. Yeah.
Is RedX something you would use instead of something like YLobo, or are those two different?
Two separate use cases. YLobo is going to bring in like social ads, so on and so forth. RedX is going to give you the data for the people in the neighborhoods and the expired data, so on and so forth. RedX, by the way, is like, I think if you want a triple N dialer and you just want expired or something like that, we were talking about geo leads, which is like the neighborhood searches. Geo leads, FSBOs, and expired. I think it's like $150 or something like that a month, something around there. I think if you use my code, you get no setup fee. So they usually charge a $150 setup fee. If you use my link, then there's no setup fee. These are all the links again if you need them. Any other questions? I'll move that a little way so you guys can do that. Any other questions? Yes. What, do I use an assistant? Yes. Yes, I have actually multiple assistants, yes. Yeah, correct. Again, process-wise, like if you want to scale anything, you need to add assistants at some point, right? So I have assistants that literally just manage my calendar, and then I have assistants that like do day-to-day work, yeah.
What do you do for any kind of objections to the amount of stuff that you're putting out?
What kind of objections?
Pushback?
Yeah, I get it all the time. I got it from some people that I sent stuff to here. Look how many people are here. It's a numbers game, right? You're gonna get people that are gonna tell you to F off and tell you to don't bother me, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is like, it's what Michael was talking about earlier. It's like, how many times can you fall and get back up? It's how many no's can you get? You're gonna get more yeses. You just have to keep going, like truly, honestly. So yeah, I get pushback all the time. I get people that tell me to never contact them again. Okay, cool, you're not my people, I'm gonna go find my people. Yep, that's it. Anybody else? Yes.
You send the postcards through follow-up boss?
Correct. Yeah, so I have all automated. So like the cool thing is like through FUB, like I can set up automation. So I have templates already made that once I have that template, all I have to do is like update an address inside FUB, click send, and it sends it out. Yeah.
So you do those 1,000 addresses through follow-up boss. Can you geographically map it and it just says, all right, that's all the addresses in this area?
Well, correct, yes. What I do is I actually upload the list that I pull from Redx.
Okay.
So you can pull from different systems. I use Redx, the GeoLeads, because it gives me their phone number, their names, their email addresses, their mailing addresses, and so on and so forth. Because I don't want to just send them to those addresses, I want to send them to their mailing addresses where they actually live. Because sometimes they're not living at those houses, so yeah.
And is Redx getting you cell phone numbers?
Yes.
It is.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
It gets you both.
My question is, can you take a seat? Here might get there. Thank you very much, by the way. We're going to jump right into the next session.